Hello and welcome. You are watching World Business Report here on News 9 Live, where we get you all the latest from the world of business, economy, finance, technology, entertainment, and more from all across the world. I am Krishna Kumar. And we begin with Wall Street, where stocks surged, buoyed by the strong corporate earnings in the US, particularly from carmaker General Motors. Tesla also saw gains following news of an accelerated new model launch, despite a major revenue drop for the quarter. Investors eagerly await earnings reports from tech giants like Microsoft, Alphabet, and Meta later this week, as these companies often influence market trends. This Reuters report gets you the lowdown on all the action on Wall Street.
U.S. stocks closed higher on Tuesday following upbeat earnings from corporate giants like General Motors. The Dow added nearly 0.7%, the S&P 500 gained 1.2%, and the Nasdaq rose roughly 1.6%. Shares of General Motors popped more than 4% after the automaker topped Wall Street's targets and raised its annual forecast, citing stable pricing and solid demand for its gas-powered cars. Meanwhile, shares of electric vehicle maker Tesla, which closed up more than 1.5%, gained another 6% in after-hours trading as investors cheered the news it would move up the launch of new models. This overshadowed a significant revenue drop for the quarter. Big tech peers Microsoft, Alphabet, and Meta platforms report results later this week. And as big tech goes, so goes the market, notes Kevin Mon, President and Chief Investment Officer at Hennion & Walsh Asset Management.
I believe there is still room to grow for big tech. Unfortunately, the biggest of the big tech names, that being Nvidia, doesn't report till May. So even if we have a couple of hiccups with respect to the other big tech names over the next couple weeks, Nvidia can come to the rescue later in May, as they have tended to do over the course of the past year and a half.
Shares of Spotify rose nearly 11.5% after the Swedish music streaming giant posted gross profit that topped 1 billion euros or $1.1 billion for the first time. On the downside, shares of JetBlue plunged nearly 19% as the low-cost carrier trimmed its annual revenue forecast following lukewarm first-quarter revenue.
Now let's delve deeper into those quarterly one earnings put out by Tesla. Tesla's profits took a sharp hit as revenues saw its first decline since the year 2020. However, amidst all of this, Tesla's shares surged upwards after CEO Elon Musk committed to fast-tracking plans for more affordable electric vehicles. In the first quarter of the year 2024, Tesla reported a net profit of $1.1 billion, down 55% from the previous year, amid intensified competition in the electric vehicle market. Revenues for the same period dropped by 9% year-on-year. The average revenue per vehicle also decreased by nearly 5% due to repeated price cuts. Following the announcement, Tesla's shares soared by more than 13% in after-hours trading. Tesla plans to expedite the launch of new models originally scheduled for the second half of the year 2025, now aiming for production to start early as late 2024. Additionally, the company revealed plans for layoffs targeting more than 10% of its global workforce, alongside slashing vehicle prices in key markets like the US, China, and Europe. And keeping it with Elon Musk-owned X platform is set to expand its reach into the realm of television with the launch of a dedicated TV app. This move marks a major step into the world of video and entertainment content, positioning X to compete directly with industry giants like Alphabet Inc.'s YouTube. Highlighting the growing appetite for video content on the platform, X revealed that users have collectively watched an impressive 23 billion minutes of video in the last 30 days alone. This statistic underscores the potential for X to capitalize on the popularity of video-based content consumption among its users. The upcoming launch promises casting capabilities and strategic partnerships, signaling Elon Musk's ambition to diversify revenue streams and enhance X's appeal in the social media landscape. With user engagement soaring, X is gearing up to offer a comprehensive video experiencing, anticipating stiff competition in the market. Meanwhile, injury rates at Elon Musk's SpaceX remain alarmingly high compared to industry norms, and that's according to an investigation by news agency Reuters. Data indicates that in the year 2023, the Brownsville, Texas plant of SpaceX reported nearly 6 injuries per 100 workers, over 7 times the industry average. This report tells you more.
Injury rates at Elon Musk's rocket firm SpaceX continue to be abnormally high by industry standards. That's according to a Reuters review of safety data reported to regulators. The figures show that a company plant in Brownsville, Texas reported 5.9 injuries per 100 workers in 2023. That's up on the previous year and more than 7 times the industry average. A unit that retrieves rocket boosters from the ocean reported a number 9 times the average. The company's high injury rate was the subject of a Reuters investigation last year. It found at least 600 previously unreported incidents. Those resulted in crushed limbs, amputations, serious head injuries, and 1 death. SpaceX didn't respond to a request for comment on the new report. Company Chief Executive Gwynne Shotwell has previously said that the safety of astronauts and personnel is Musk's highest priority. But industry experts say the high injury rates should be a concern for the firm's clients, including NASA, which increasingly relies on SpaceX. One said the numerous accidents could be an indicator of poor production quality.
Perplexity AI, a startup challenging Google with its AI-driven search engine, secured $63 million in funding, valuing the company at over $1 billion. Led by investor Daniel Gross, the round saw participation from prominent figures like Stanley Druckenmiller, Gary Tan, Dylan Field, Jeff Bezos, and Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang. Perplexity AI's chatbot, emphasizing accuracy, has garnered attention, processing 75 million user queries in the US this year. With $20 million in annual revenues, the startup targets businesses with a new enterprise version priced at $40 per month. Distribution deals with SoftBank and Deutsche Telekom are looking to expand the startup's global reach while competing with giants like Google. Perplexity focuses on agility and accuracy, leveraging leading AI models like OpenAI's ChatGPT 4 and Meta's Llama 3. Meanwhile, Apple's smartphone shipments in China plunged by 19% in the first quarter, marking its worst performance since the year 2020. The decline was attributed to Huawei's strong presence in the premium segment. This report tells you more.
Apple's smartphone shipments in China fell 19% in the first quarter of the year, market data showed Tuesday. It's the iPhone maker's worst performance since 2020. The US tech giant took a hit from Huawei's new product launches in the premium segment. Apple's share in the world's biggest smartphone market fell to 15.7% in the first quarter from almost a fifth a year earlier. That put it almost level with Huawei, which saw sales jump 70% according to research firm Counterpoint. Apple lost its title as the biggest smartphone seller in China to rival Vivo and slid to third in the quarter. China is Apple's third biggest market and generated around 17% of its total revenue in the October to December quarter. The China update comes after separate gloomy data earlier this month. It showed Apple endured a near 10% drop in global smartphone shipments in the first quarter of the year. It was hurt by stronger competition by Android smartphone makers led by Samsung. The South Korean firm also took the top phone maker spot from Apple in the opening quarter. Last week, Huawei released its Pura 70 series of high-end phones and launched the Mate 60 series in August. The Mate 60 was seen as a comeback for the Chinese company in the high-end market. It was also described as a triumph over US sanctions on the company, as the handsets contain an advanced China-made chip.
Now, recent research revealed that China managed to acquire Nvidia's advanced artificial intelligence chips through resellers, despite a US ban on such sales to China. The review of tender documents uncovered that 10 Chinese entities procured these chips, which were integrated into server products manufactured by Supermicro, Dell Technologies, and Gigabyte Technology. More in this report.
China recently obtained Nvidia's artificial intelligence chips through resellers, Reuters research has shown. Universities and research institutes got hold of the semiconductors despite the US widening a ban last year on the sale of such tech to China. A Reuters review of hundreds of tender documents show 10 Chinese entities acquired advanced Nvidia chips. They were embedded in server products made by Supermicro, Dell Technologies, and Taiwan's Gigabyte Technology. It happened after the US expanded the embargo to subject more chips and countries to licensing rules in November. The servers contain some of Nvidia's most advanced chips, according to the previously unreported tenders. While the US bars the firms and its partners from selling advanced chips to China, including via third parties, the sale and purchase of the chips are not illegal within China. The 11 sellers of the chips were little-known Chinese retailers. Reuters could not determine whether, in fulfilling the orders, they used stockpiles acquired before the US tightened restrictions. Nvidia said the tenders do not indicate that any of their partners violated the export control rules. The server makers said they complied with applicable laws or would investigate further. Buyers included the Chinese Academy of Sciences and other prominent bodies, some of them state-run. None of the buyers or retail sellers responded to questions from Reuters about the matter. The US Commerce Department said officials would investigate credible allegations of violations.
French automobile manufacturer Renault anticipates a surge in sales amid new model launches, as it confirmed that its profit margin and cash flow forecast for the year 2024 and pushed ahead with cost cuts. Renault will be launching 7 new cars this year, including 2 fully electric ones and 2 hybrids. Take a look.
Renault expects its sales growth to accelerate this year as it launches a number of new models. The French firm posted a 1.8% rise in first quarter revenue to $12.5 billion on Tuesday, just ahead of analyst forecasts. High interest rates lifted income at its financing arm, while car sales volumes grew by 2.6% versus a year earlier. Renault is in the middle of a turnaround plan and a shift to electric models. It's launching 7 new cars this year, including 2 fully electric ones and 2 hybrids. But the global auto sector is bracing for a tough year due to slowing demand growth for EVs. Leading EV maker Tesla is cutting prices in several markets, putting more pressure on European firms. Tesla cut the price of its Model 3 to $39,990 in Renault's home market. That matched the starting price of the French firm's new EV Scenic, which has a shorter range. Sales volumes at Renault returned to growth last year after falling 4 years in a row. The automaker also confirmed its forecast for this year. It's aiming for an operating margin target of at least 7.5% and free cash flow of almost $2.7 billion.
Away from Renault to the US Federal Trade Commission, which filed a lawsuit aiming to halt Coach parent Tapestry's $8.5 billion acquisition of Michael Kors owned Capri. The lawsuit contends that the deal would erase crucial competition between the 2 luxury handbag brands, potentially impacting consumer choice and market dynamics. Here's more.
Michael Kors might not be getting a new owner after all. Parent firm Capri is the subject of an $8.5 billion takeover bid by Coach parent firm Tapestry. But now the US Federal Trade Commission is suing to stop the deal. It says the takeover would eliminate competition between the companies, which both play in the more affordable, accessible luxury end of the market. It also says a deal could result in wage cuts and other penalties for workers at the firms. Industry experts say it's unusual for the FTC to intervene in a luxury sector deal and could set a precedent for future moves. Tapestry says regulators have misunderstood the market and the way consumers now shop. Some experts agreed, saying the US luxury market was highly fragmented and fiercely competitive, and wouldn't be threatened by the deal. It all comes after competition enforcers issued new merger guidelines in December. They stipulate that harm to pay or working conditions can be grounds to object to a takeover. Tapestry says it needs the deal to build a bigger firm that can compete with European giants like Louis Vuitton owner LVMH. The takeover has already been approved by watchdogs in the EU and Japan.
This week witnessed a number of developments in the realm of artificial intelligence, from Microsoft's unveiling of its latest economy class offering, marking a stride in democratizing AI accessibility, to the emergence of deep fake tech in Bollywood stirring concerns. These are the week's biggest stories from AI revolution.
From Microsoft's budget bot to alarm over deep fakes in India's election, this is AI Weekly. Microsoft has launched a cheaper AI model. Dubbed 5.3 Mini, it's meant to do things like draft social media posts while using less data and being more affordable. Facebook parent Meta has an update out too, with its latest bot able to generate images in real time as the user types prompts. AI is causing alarm in India's mammoth general election, which runs for weeks. Fake videos have circulated showing top Bollywood stars appearing to criticize Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Some versions of the videos were soon blocked on social media sites, but many continued to circulate. Chipmaker TSMC is enjoying the boom driven by ChatGPT and the like. The Taiwan Titan beat forecasts over the latest quarter and says insatiable AI demand is helping it get over waning sales of gadgets. AI is roaming the warehouse. UK firm Dexery has developed a robot that can detect damaged stock and dodge forklift trucks while it does it. Andrei Dănescu is the co-founder and CEO.
They're the world's tallest autonomous robots. So they're the size of a warehouse rack. They're about 12.5 meters tall, which gives them the ability, as they pass through the warehouse, to scan everything in one swift go, in one swift pass.
And AMD has unveiled its latest AI-enabled chips. The Intel rival wants a bigger slice of the market for laptops designed to work with the tech. Now, the new chips will roll out on computers from HP and Lenovo later this year.
Amidst unprecedented weather challenges, Dubai International Airport, the world's busiest hub for international travel, returned to full operational capacity. Following torrential rains that inundated the Arabian Peninsula and caused widespread flooding in the UAE, authorities reported a successful restoration of services. Remember, last week's deluge left tens of thousands of passengers stranded as flood waters transformed roads into impassable rivers, highlighting the airport's resilience in overcoming adversity. On to a groundbreaking advancement where the ion Broncoscopy Robot has been introduced in medical technology. This innovative device will empower physicians to identify lungs with a virtual map produced from the CT scan and provide a real-time view, as it will help navigate the breathing tubes of the lungs. This report explains how this technology could help produce safer and more accurate lung cancer diagnoses.
Doctors hope this robot can help produce safer and more accurate lung cancer diagnoses. With 125,000 people in the U.S. dying each year of lung cancer, according to the National Cancer Institute, doctors agree that early detection can save lives. But when a patient's screening detects troubling signs such as nodules, a biopsy may be needed.
The robot is thin, so it can actually get to a lot more branches than we currently can with our current bronchoscopes. I see this as the future. A part of my job as a pulmonologist is to help patients when they have abnormal CT scans.
Dr. Alexander Zeider is at Sutter Health's Mills Peninsula Medical Center in Burlingame, California. He has used the new ion Broncoscopy Robot on 3 patients so far.
Some nodules are too small to biopsy, but other nodules we have to biopsy to determine if there's cancer or not. This tool allows us to go after almost any nodule in the lung to try to provide patients with diagnostic certainty.
The robot allows doctors to navigate the lungs with a virtual map produced from a CT scan. During the procedure, it provides a real-time view of the lungs as the catheter enters the breathing tubes. It also helps doctors determine how far the needle used in a biopsy can be safely inserted without causing a lung collapse, Sider said.
And so this allows us to, one, get to the nodules that radiology could not otherwise get to. Two, biopsy nodules from the inside, which has a much lower risk of lung collapse that radiology may have not wanted to do in the first place. Or three, for really suspicious nodules, allow us to do both diagnosis and staging at the same time.
He hopes the ability of the robot to find, biopsy, and even mark tough-to-reach nodules will help reduce anxiety in patients. Zyder is now looking to the future and how lung cancer treatment could be improved.
We can put markers in to help the surgeon cut out less of the lung than we would traditionally. There may or may not in the future be ways that we can treat lung cancer from the inside without having to send patients to radiation or surgery.
And finally, shifting focus to the world of entertainment, where Hollywood actors Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt turned the spotlight on stunt performers in the film The Fall Guy at its London premiere. The film's stunt designer, Chris O'Hara, expressed hope that the movie will raise awareness and recognition for the industry. The Fall Guy is inspired by the popular 1980s TV series of the same name and stars Ryan Gosling as Colt Seavers, a top Hollywood stuntman down on his luck following an on-set accident. Take a look.
Benefited from the work of stunt people my whole career. You know, they come in, they take the hits for you, and then they get none of the credit. It's very strange dynamic, and you know that ends here. So hopefully the whole conversation is different after this film.
It's completely a love letter to stunt performers and the magic of what they create in movies. But I think it's a love letter to crews and making films.
It's really great to kind of finally get recognized for that, and hopefully it sheds light to the Academy that, you know, maybe someday we might be able to be up for an Academy Award just like all of our other department heads in the business.
And with that, it's a wrap on World Business Report. We'll be back with Business Plus on the other side. Keep it with News 9.